Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video in Grand Arena 3v3. Apologies for the lack of uploads over the last week or so. I have taken a mini break from 3v3 Grand Arena as I just felt like Datacrons were kind of sucking all the enjoyment out of PvP game modes for me, as some of you guys may be feeling as well. Obviously I have known of a lot of people that have quit the game because of Datacrons, and I'm not really surprised because they do suck. So this footage is pre-recorded footage of the last two rounds of week 1 and first round of week 2, which is when I was on holiday. And the format of this video will be slightly different to the others in that it's going to sort of act as like a catalogue of fights. So I'll then be putting the chapters like I would normally down in the description and along the time bar, so you can skip to certain fights that are applicable for your Grand Arena. And I will try to do my best with the commentary over some of the fights where it's appropriate and giving insight into what I did and why I did certain things and what I did wrong, so that hopefully you can see and learn from my own mistakes. There won't be any fleets in this video, unfortunately, as those fights do not change much, so there's no point to keep showing them all the time. And I may continue with this format of 3v3 with showing a full round of all the fights from 3 rounds, obviously. Is it like a 4 week? So let me know whether you like this style of video, obviously like a catalogue of fights like this will be, or you'd like me to return to my normal format of doing round by round. But I will return to that normal format in 5v5 because I just feel like it's more important and people tend to like that format more than 3v3. Anyway, I tried to highlight the Datacrons on each team as applicable, but I just forgot to do so in these because I was in a bit of a rush to get these fights done. But anyway, for the first fights we'll be starting with JML versus a bunch of different teams, starting against SLKR. So obviously this is the standard JML team that you'd probably be using against other GLs, obviously with JKR and Hermit. We'll try and land that ability block on Supreme Blue Colour, which we did. Luckily there's no Hux or Sith Trooper. Just going to try and want to get everyone out before Kylo starts to yoink some people out. Go for a blind, which we do. So I think he's about to AoE. Oh no, just basic there. I believe we just wave everyone to death now. So trying to get some banners back where we can. Push back some Tommy to an ability block. I think we get this to Hermit and he waves him to death. Probably could have just finished it there, but I just really wanted to see if we can cover that protection banner, which I don't think we are going to because obviously Kylo's about to take his turn. Yeah, it's unfortunate there. Obviously, this is where I was like, oh no, let's give this special to Hermit, he can wave him to death. Which we do for 66, so not too bad. Just missed the one protection banner on JML there. Next we have JML versus Maul, obviously not using Jedi Luke or Hermit, just trying to use a like B tier sort of Jedi, obviously so we can use Jedi Luke in a different fight. Obviously try and get rid of Candace as quick as possible. For 55 there. Next we have JML Solo versus Qui-Gon Jinn. It's quite standard. This can go very wrong against a very well modded Qui-Gons and Jedi Anakins because they just deal too much damage and your JML will just die. Especially as mine's only R7. If you have an R8 or R9, even with a well modded Qui-Gon Jinn team, you probably still get through it. Not that my JML's modded poorly, obviously you just have a higher health pool. So you get rid of Anakin first. The Omicron gets negated because you are using a GL, and that's part of like Qui-Gon Jinn's Omicron, obviously, that they changed quite early on because he was absolutely destroying GLs with it, so they nerfed it, I suppose. Obviously a lot of people had applied it by then. I think it was the first Omicron to be announced, actually. be wrong with that. And next we're moving on to Jedi Master Kenobi fights. The first one is against Rey. Obviously with Stick Rey and Holdo. I'm using my Datacron here, which is like a level 9 Datacron, you know, typical stun on special and stacking offense, that sort of thing. So you can notice that with these fights you will be able to notice whether a team has a Datacron or not, because there is the Datacron item in the bottom left for my teams and below the picture in the top right when there is one. Obviously there isn't one in this fight, but there will be in some more fights coming up. That's just the case here, trying to recover some banners, but I don't think we will be able to. This heal might get us full banners. So just stuck on full auto at that point. And we got 4 banners for that. And next we have JMK versus a Datacron Rey. This is a Relic 9 Rey with obviously the Resistant Heroes bros. I'm using a different setup with no tank, which is probably a bit of a mistake. I probably should have taken General Kenobi or someone like that, because with this Arni Rey, she's just going to delete someone after a while. Because obviously with the health steal from the Datacron that she had on, she's going to keep healing above that threshold to then do her lifeblood and push herself back under to get another whirlwind, which as you can see just happened there. Also we did lose Ahsoka Tano there, unfortunately. Just a case of waiting, and we can try and get rid of Rey when we can. Obviously I was just trying to get rid of her before she potentially whirlwinded my cat, which we were fortunate to avoid. Sorry. And now we move on to a JMK Mirror with the Datacron as well, both sides. So I think we were both using maxed out Datacrons here. Obviously what I'm trying to do here is just stall using the leap so that we can annihilate their cat. You're just trying to get Kenobi's ultimate. I could have popped it here and done it, but I just thought as we were keeping them stunned, there was not really much need to keep doing that. Well, no reason to actually pop the ultimate. Obviously used ultimate facing cat, she'll get stunned because it still is classed as a special ability, and obviously we can get rid of her, so we get to keep our Kenobi, which is obviously going to help with what banners we get at the end. This is where it took a bit longer than I would have hoped it to do, because we just got stuck behind General Kenobi, and obviously the stuns weren't helping either. Start stacking out his armor shreds onto Jedi Master Kenobi. I think he does hello there here now. Oh no, he doesn't. So they have the ignore protection level 9 bonus while they're in high ground. Yeah, there we go, that's what was annoying. Obviously they put damage immunity onto General Kenobi so we can go after him. That was a misplay, I should have gone after General Kenobi there while he was still in damage immunity. While General Kenobi is still in damage immunity. Still got to kill General Kenobi. Just trying to chunk through him, but there we go. Right now we're back at ultimate, and we just got to clean up to the lone Jedi Master Kenobi. Should be relatively easy now. 435k to finish, not too shabby. Right, and here we have a good cleanup for you. Obviously, if you are facing a Lord Vader, Veers troopers with Dark Trooper and Piet are very good. Obviously, just be careful that Lord Vader doesn't have his AoE to start. If he starts with his AoE, that will completely destroy this counter, and you won't be able to clean him up. That's obviously sending a burner team to obviously make sure he doesn't have that on cooldown. Anyway, that is a nice way to keep him at bay and get those victory points that you need to clear. And now we have Veers versus Qira. Obviously with a Datacron. Not sure what the Datacron was on this. Nothing too great. Pretty simple really. Dark Trooper punches everyone to death and that's pretty much game over. And now we have a C fight. Obviously Solo versus Emperor Palpatine Starkiller. Pretty simple, obviously link up Mara and Starkiller. And it's just a case of waiting for ultimate. So you can, if you start with a Deceived, you can actually get your ultimate before Starkiller gets his. If you do the protection first, even though it doesn't actually matter which one you do first, obviously Starkiller is more likely to go into his ultimate, which will just tickle you anyway. So obviously Deceive charges C's ultimate up quicker. That's just a case of full auto, hoping that my Palpatine can kill the other one. For some reason, they just have a little tickle fight in the middle here. And a nice 57. And then we have Triumvirate versus Dooku Geos, obviously Brood and Spy. Obviously they do get counter chance from Dooku's lead, that's why I have brought Traya lead, obviously because that punishes those sort of teams. So we're going to have to deal with the nasty down health immunity when we get to 100% health, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem because we have to heal up and cleanse ourselves. We'll just hit that pain to get some protection back. Now we drain everyone. And then annihilate to finish. See, protection mana is going to be useless on Traya teams, like I've always said. There's a 54, and then we've got another Dooku team, but this time with Nest and Talon. We'll see how guys in again because Nihilus can just annihilate Nest when he gets to that point. Increase everyone's cooldowns. Stun's going to be a bit annoying, but it's fine. Looks like while Talon's out of stealth, we'll just go after her. She's going to have that like, mini savior on Dooku anyway if we went after him. Kill Talon here, and I think we kill Dooku off next, and then obviously we're just waiting for the Annihilate from Nihilus to kill Nest, which is one turn away. It was one turn away if I wasn't stunned. I was like, we'll just annihilate Nest here, and then Dooku pop to the dots, I think. So next we have Bad Batch versus Qui-Gon. This is quite a funny fail. I wasn't paying attention, obviously, when I was recording this. So obviously I've thrown out the droid here to get the defense up. And then done what I usually do, pass turn to Echo targets Anakin, I stun him. So then I can kill Qui-Gon, and then stops him taking his bonus turn because he's stunned. But here's what went wrong. Obviously, Qui-Gon used his special. I thought I had defense up so I could have killed Anakin, but I should have just done a basic and killed him, so that was quite funny. Obviously I wasn't paying attention at all. It's got absolutely obliterated. And now we have Bad Batch versus Bossk. Obviously with Fennec and Dadbod Boba. This one was quite a relatively simple fight. So you should try to kill Fennec first because she just does a lot of damage. The other guys will be a bit annoying because of the constant healing, because Boba can just keep throwing out his AoEs, but we've got rid of the damage dealer now, so it's just a case of whittling these two guys down. So you steal those buffs for extra offense. This is what I should have done last fight. Use the basic to kill Anakin. I felt like such a noob after I did that. It was quite funny. I thought I had to include that in the video, just so you could all guys have a bit of a laugh. Obviously, I think we get full banners in this fight. Yeah. And now Padme versus Bam. This is the best Padme I think I've been using, like team-wise. Obviously, it's a lot of control really. Ayla can stun, Mace as a counter, and a basic ability block, so it's just a lot of control, and then obviously stacking up the courage to do all the damage basically. But this is my favourable lineup to be using in 3v3 at the moment, obviously because Mace and Ayla don't really have another use unless you have like the Datacron for Ayla or something outside of the other teams. It's better than them being sat on the bench when these guys can get full banners. Probably could have gone for the kill on IG there, but I just obviously opted to go and stun Bam. Always pass the turn back to Padme just so we can keep stacking up protection up for more courage. There I should probably go after Quail, but obviously not a problem. Just delaying the inevitable. So there we go, one shot Bam with 25 stacks of courage, and then a kick to the face. Oh, I didn't even kick him. I thought we kicked him. Never mind. And now we have Padme versus Hux. Same lineup again. So it's pretty straightforward and why this works well. A lot of you will obviously have worked on Ayla for Jedi Master Kenobi requirements. Obviously Padme's for Vader. I think Mace is for Kenobi as well, isn't he? I can't remember. I think he is. It's quite a straightforward fight. Just want to try and get over Sith Trooper first. Obviously, if he killed anyone else, he could do quite a lot of damage. Obviously, if he decided to do an AoE, we didn't have any protection up. Just eliminating that risk, basically. So we had to leave Hux for last because Stormtrooper was taunting. This should be a full banner win. And then another Padme fight. This time a slightly different lineup with Ahsoka rather than Ayla versus a Bossk with a Zam Omicron team. What do you say? Omicron. They always see me passing the turn on the Shatterpoint enemy, to obviously have made to give her the turn so she can pop her heals and things. Probably should have done a basic there with Ahsoka to clear the healing immunity off Mace. Obviously she'd crit, which she probably would have done maybe. So keep healing up to stack up the protection. Protection up obviously for courage stacks. Keep passing the turn over to Ahsoka and then kill Bossk. Obviously we'll just try to kill Zam here, so we can eliminate Omicron. Obviously, I just went after Boba there because he had Shatterpoint. Ahsoka's special gives protection up as well, so that's more courage stacks. So using that where possible is obviously very helpful. Killed Boba once, and then just killed Sam. Went for a stun there, obviously stopped the boss from Boba taking a turn. And lightsaber to the face to kill Zam for 55. And now we have the Wampa fights. So I do have 2 Wampa fights, Wampa versus GG to start off with, and then versus a Relic Iden team afterwards. So it's pretty standard with Wampa against GG. Well, it's pretty standard for most Wampa fights, you just keep smacking them until they die. My Wampa is a Relic 7 Wampa, so it's quite handy against a lot of teams really. I did actually manage to beat a Palpatine Starkiller team with my Wampa, so I was quite proud of that. Obviously Relic Iden now. Luckily you managed to avoid any stuns. To get protection up as soon as possible. That's just a case of waiting for them to drop off their revive things. Probably can put this on auto, but I just like using my Wampa, so I just tend to avoid doing that unless I'm in a rush. There we have it for 58. Next, we are moving on to the Darth Revan fights. This is before, obviously, Malgus was released. Well, not released, but activated, because Conquest hadn't finished at this point. So obviously just using a standard Darth Revan team here. Obviously very handy triggering the death mark on Maul, and he has shock as well, so we can do that and kill both of those guys. That's just a case of waiting for Decker to come out of damage immunity. Obviously if we can get Malak's first special off cooldown, which we didn't unfortunately, so just having to wait. See fear applied there, which is very helpful because we can stun Decker and then just kill him. So you're missing the banners on Bustler, but nothing too bad. And now probably the most riskiest fight of them all, for Darth Revan at least. Obviously Nash and Han and Chewie. You just have to kind of hope that they don't go after someone that you need. Either if we lost Bastler there, we probably could have lost. Because you kind of need all these guys really. Keep these under control. Unfortunately for us, Nash didn't have shock, so we couldn't do a big AoE there. That's not a big problem. It's just a case of Zap to finish for 55. Now, Momothra versus Nute Jango. A couple of Momothra fights. Another Nute variant with B2s up next. The standard as always, just go after B1 to begin with because he has all the AoE damage, assisting and whatnot. So just obviously good for banners to get rid of him first. He can just try and heal up the other guys. Obviously throwing the saber on with Car recovers protection on the other guys, so that's very, very helpful to know your fights if you need the extra banners. Sometimes I forget that's even a thing, but obviously there's just so much to remember in the game at the moment. Almost killed off Jango. Clearing the extortion when I can. There, I probably should have gone for a big heal, because I think we would have kept our banners on Qira there. That's slightly unfortunate, but obviously still good score. Now we'll move on to the second Nute variant. Get rid of B2 first, because if we went after B1 like I would normally, we'll just keep triggering B2's turns, and he's gonna, obviously B1's just gonna keep assisting, so that's gonna whittle our health down too much. So as soon as B2's out of here, we can hopefully get a bit of control back. That's him gone. Now we just got to kill B1. Luckily with all the assists he gets killed pretty quickly. And that's the 4 banners, because obviously we did protect your recovery with the lightsaber throw, so very handy. Right, Jedi Revan versus Finn and the Resistant Hero Bros. So you're going to mark and kill Resistance Hero's Finn as soon as possible, because he's the one who gives all the counter chance to the team, and it's just generally quite a bit of a nuisance compared to the other two at least. So you spread the buffs that Yoda's got to the other guys. It's just a case of trying to see if he can recover some banners. Obviously, according to Jolie, to recover some protection. Luckily, didn't go for a big hit. And we just kill him. We get 56 for this fight. Because Jedi Revan was missing his protection balance there, unfortunately. Jedi Revan versus Bad Batch. Obviously with the Datacron, we were able to outspeed Echo, fortunately for us. Obviously, so you want to go after him as soon as possible to stop him dazing and putting healing immunity on you guys. Steal all those buffs that they've got, give them to my guys, and then we'll just try and kill Echo, which we unfortunately didn't there. Well, in a second. Last time back to Yoda. Let's kill Hunter. Probably could have jumped there to steal some buffs, but see, the bigger hit, the second special does more damage. Probably should have jumped there again. See, basic gives us the offense up, defense pen up. Didn't opt to spread the buffs because I just wanted to kill Tech before he took a turn so we can get full banners, which we do. Now we have Gas versus the Dash, Han and Chewie. See, like you would have seen used with Darth Revan. This is not a very nice counter because normally it just comes to just Gas standing at the end, which you're about to see, especially with Arc and Echo lineup. But luckily, Gas is able to handle it himself. See, once Chewie's dead, Han is pretty easy to kill off, and then we get a pretty rubbish 50 banners for that. No, it's just slightly different. Obviously, I had left turn meter, as you can see. Druid started with almost barely any protection. I was like, let's try Dooku with Night Sisters. This is my first misplay. I should not have done that. Because I've just left Towson out in the open, and she's not a tank, so I probably could have kept her alive had I just left everyone else out of stealth, because then the damage should have hopefully been shared across the other guys, maybe. But obviously you don't know what the targeting's like in the game. Obviously I did opt to bring Dooku lead because Sarge is also a separatist, so she does get the bonuses from Dooku's lead with the counter chance and Dooku's tenacity down and healing immunity is very good, obviously when they hit below the 100% health threshold. And shock obviously stops them healing as well. Obviously they can both stun on basics, and it just puts a bit of control. And it would have been nice if Talzin had survived. Obviously it's not too much a big deal. I think I should have basic there, so I should have tried to stun Bossk, but pretty much we could do about that now. And then for, I don't know what banners this was, like 30, because I'd already used a team against that, so I was running out of options. Now we've got a Bast Nest versus Darth Maul. So passing the buffs to Nest. Actually, will obviously do more damage than old Ben will. To get rid of Darth Maul as soon as possible. Get that exposed on Darth Sidious. He unfortunately deflected my stun. See, because he does get more evasion against Jedi, but this isn't a Jedi, so that helps. Kill here, and then also just kill Sith Marauder. Now we have SLKR and Night Sisters versus Lord Vader with double tank. Obviously in 3v3 ideally you want to be using Watt, but if you don't have Watt's available and there is no Maul or Darth Vader, you can actually use Darker and Zombie. But it's obviously a lot riskier counter than obviously with Watt being here. I just felt, obviously with the options that I had left, I did need to use this variance because I needed to use Watt elsewhere. See, with the changes now, Lord Vader can't get negative mastery, so it's obviously even more riskier because he can still do a lot of damage to you. So you have to keep an eye on the dots as well to make sure the Darker doesn't die to dots. So keep healing up with her when possible, and then swiping to get rid of all the dots to keep Darker alive, and obviously Zombie keep dying off because helping stack Darker's health a lot. See his Zeta. I was trying to decide whether to cleanse Darker first before going to ultimate, but then I just decided that we needed to get out there as soon as possible with the ultimate and then hope that Darker didn't die, which he didn't, which was handy. So just in case I keep swiping. Probably going to start swiping on Lord Vader, but I just wanted to get Beauregard out of there. And kill Lord Vader for the 63 banners. So that must have been the first fight I did. One of the rounds. General League versus a Datacron CLS team. Also, I was using my own Datacron as well. I believe that was probably my Jedi Master Luke Datacron. So if you can kill Chewie off as quick as possible, it does make the fight a lot easier. Which we have. And there you go. That's the 56. This is my last fight of the video, which is probably one of my favourite teams I like to use in 3v3 if I get the choice to, which is obviously JTR with Stick Ray and Watt. So he gives shield tech to JTR because she's a tank, so shield taunt, and obviously Stick Ray gets the weapon tech. And obviously resistance versus first order is pretty stable already. That's a big hit to kill crew there. Obviously we are going to win this. So if you have enjoyed the video, obviously let me know what you think to this sort of style of video. I will try and improve my commentary if it's been pretty iffy, this one. And I will be posting a video of my solo fights. And if you have enjoyed it, as always, I would really appreciate a like, comment and subscribe, and I shall catch you in the next one.